Carroll, bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still David Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Ringing the Blues, your podcast dedicated to wonderful Wycombe Wanderers. On this week's show we have all the action and reaction from the game at Adams Park under the lights against Ipswich Town. Plus we have Oily Sailors FA Cup poem. But first let's head to Mexico City for the midweek results in League One.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City. Mi nombre es Uri, and this is a special edition ahead of the FA Cup. You may or you may not notice that I have a congested nose. Well, Cherboy Spanish this week? Gripa, flu, regular flu, not something else. So, everything okay. First of all, I need to say that we are part of the nominees for the Club Podcast of the Year by the FSA, along with Blue Moon, Charlton Live, 5-Year Plan, It's All Cobblers to Me, and Wise Men Say. Yes, and Ringing the Blues is part of the shortlist, so send good vibes and the committee may decide for us. So, let's go for the results of League One. Charlton Athletic 1, Rotherham United 1, Crewe Alexandra 1, Doncaster Rovers 1, Fleetwood Town 2, Wigan Athletic 3, Wycombe 0, Cambridge 2, Portsmouth 1, Cheltenham 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3, Sunderland 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 4. ¿Qué pasó, Wycombe Wanderers? ¿Qué pasó? You can't lose 1-4 at home. Greetings from Mexico, back to England with my amigo Phil Catchpole. Until next week.
Wycombe's 100% home league record was on the line against the Tractor Boys on Tuesday. Here's what happened.
They're a strong side, one of the favourites for the league, and if we can match them and be competitive against them, then I'll feel that we are a side that deserves to be where we are at the moment.
Ball goes to the back post looking for Wheeler in the box, and they've scored! David Wheeler against Ipswich again. The ball came from the corner, nodded into the 6-yard box, and David Wheeler hooks it in with his right boot. It's Wycombe Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 0. Finds Selina goes for goal, deflected and in. Stockdale gets a glove to it and he can only tap it into the top corner, and Selina against a run of play have pulled Ipswich level. Wycombe 1, Ipswich 1. Carl Edwards now up against Gate, wants it on his right, it goes on outside on his left though, cuts it back, palmed away by Stockdale. Bon on the turn, has scored. Ipswich have the lead. Edwards with the cross. Stockdale got a glove on it but can only palm it down to Bon, who span and turned it into the empty net to give Ipswich Town the lead. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 2. Evans on the right hand side to Vincent Young inside the area, checks back looking for support, goes to Burns right footed, scores! And Ipswich Town leads 3-1. Wes Burns hammers the ball into the top corner to give Ipswich Town a 2-goal cushion at Adams Park. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 3. Drops to Harper now, and Stockdale's on the edge of his box now, and now Selina's going to make it 4. Stockdale's been beaten in the centre circle, and Selina rolls it into the empty net, and the points are going to Ipswich for sure now. Ipswich Town lead here at Adams Park 4-1. Wycombe have committed everybody forward. Stockdale was in the centre circle, he couldn't get there, and Selina, quick as you like, scampered into the Wycombe half and had the simple task of rolling the ball into the empty net. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 4.
Gareth, the 100% home record has come to an end in some way as well.
Yeah, I'm not counting the fourth goal really. I think David Stockdale has sent someone up for the corner, so it's obviously you've got to count it. It's ended the game, but disappointing. Real disappointing. The timing of the goals against, I think, really worked in Ipswich's favour. They're a good side, very good side, and but so are we. And I'm really proud of the boys. Big picture, out of 7 games, we've won 6 of them at home, and I think it's been great. I think real positives for us. We're a little bit hopeful at times tonight, and the pitch maybe cut us out again. Real frosty, and like I say, a couple of the balls forward. I think we could have been better, more quality. But effort-wise, all there. Fans, thank you. Sorry I couldn't produce the win that we all wanted, but we'll be back. Looking forward to the FA Cup Saturday now. Maybe a break against Pompey in the international call-ups. We'll see what happens there. But I think we've had a great first third of the season. And if we can do the second third the same as we've done, we're going to have a right chance of promotion this year.
That first 20-25 minutes, Wycombe really took it to Ipswich, didn't they?
Yeah, and first 10 minutes of the second half as well, Phil. I thought we changed slightly at half-time just to try and contend with some of their rotation, and it worked. They were kicking out play. And like I say, the timing of the goal kills us really. It's a leg up that we gave them. They've scored from 2 of our set pieces, going forward, and they were countering on us. We had chances. The keeper's made some fantastic saves. That's what he's there for. But no, we'll be back, and we've got to go up Portman Road. Obviously, that's going to be a big occasion for us. But I've got plenty of games left in this league now to put more points on the board, and that's what I intend to do.
Ipswich's first goal seemed to turn the game. David Stockdale looked disappointed with himself as well. Did you feel that really turned the tide?
No, I didn't know. It was their first shot on target, after 30 minutes or something. So it was tough to take. Stockdale's almost pulled off a great save, but no, I think Stockdale knows that. He's where he is. He's a brilliant keeper. He's the top 2 divisions when he's on form, without a shadow of a doubt, and he's a great number 1. So yeah, we've seen some brilliant saves, some brilliant goals, some brilliant action so far this season. Tonight didn't quite, get to the level that we have been playing at, but we've got to make sure that we're back on it next game. And the games after that, like I say, if we can produce another third like we've just done, we're going to be well within a shout of automatics, playoffs, whatever. But Ipswich will be there without a doubt. They're a good side. It's taken them a while to click. And they've spent a lot of money getting a good squad together. Rightly so. They want to get back in the Championship. They'll have a chance as well.
David Wheeler was doing great things in the air until the left back went off injured, and they brought on a sort of gargantuan left back as a substitute, and that went against Wycombe a little bit as well, didn't it?
Listen, you've got to find ways then to break things down, and I thought we did really well. I think there was maybe a foul in the build-up to their goal as well, which was disappointing that we didn't get. I thought Brandon Hanlon was a real thorn in the side of Ipswich all night. He's coming on strength to strength. But like I say, a little bit hopeful on things. Didn't go our way. Not going to complain. We've been well and truly beaten today. Well done, Ipswich. We're going to the next one.
Back on the coach, FA Cup Saturday, just a short trip up to Hartlepool. Naming a strong side for that one?
Yeah, FA Cup means a lot to me. One or 2 of my boys are carrying knocks though in the team tonight, and maybe it might be the right thing to keep them fit for the league. We've got some young development players who would relish a chance in the FA Cup, but I will not weaken the side to belittle the competition. It will be done for the right reasons, and that'll be medical reasons. Otherwise, we'll be going up there to try and get him round 2.
So then, after a slow start, the Ipswich fans were a very happy bunch after the final whistle. Here's the opposition view. Romeo 4.
Great character from the team tonight. To go a goal down and come back to win like that is the standout performance of the season. Well done, Town. Great away support too. Brilliant to see.
North Suffolk Blue
For 20 minutes, there was only one winner, and we really weren't in the game. But once they took the lead, they seemed to stand off us and allow us back into it. We stood up to him, and the ref didn't give too much, which worked in our favour. There were times when they expected to get free kicks and tried to get our players booked, but the ref wasn't having any of it.
JSS.
I absolutely feared the worst at 1-0 down and stinking the place out. Then Selena pings one in and it's one-way traffic. They pushed us back a couple of periods, but for once we were so difficult to break down. Excellent stuff.
Daft Coons.
Was it just me, or did anyone else think that was the smallest, tightest pitch they've ever seen in league football? Particularly satisfying to outplay them, if that's the case.
Sam White, UK.
Have some of that, you shithousing bastards.
Tractor Wood.
How were they top? Absolute shower. We outplayed them in every position. Amazing second half performance.
Illinois Blue.
The only downside to that thumping win is thinking of the points we've already thrown away. This squad should already be in the top 6.
Hallam Blue.
4-1 at Wycombe tonight will send out shockwaves to the rest of the league. Wycombe no mugs, and we've destroyed them tonight. I'm absolutely made up with that. Let's push on now.
East Town Blue.
Well done, Wycombe. Thanks for the post moment back in September. Much appreciated. What a stupid mistake. We were shockingly poor then.
It's the FA Cup first round this weekend, which can only mean one thing. Your yearly dose of culture on Ringing the Blues. Oily Sailor has put pen to paper for his traditional poem ahead of the FA Cup first round, and it's recited by our very own Ballroom Bill.
In Buckinghamshire, north and south, we know our beasts. We watch our mouth. The swan's our symbol, that sacred bird, nice in an omelette, or so I've heard. The Queen protects her tasty beasts. We fear their beaks and plan no feasts. But outside Bucks, the rules are hazy. Animal welfare, it's all gone crazy. In Peterborough, the scene is mad. Swans for brunch, hounds gone bad. In salty Plymouth, they harpoon whales. In Colchester, you'll find few cats with tails. But worst of all, the cold northeast. Surely they care for primates at least. Well, please sit down and prepare for a thriller. We need to discuss how they treat gorillas. The story goes that one day in history, a sailor washed up, a man of mystery. 3'3", a sturdy tale, probably French, stick him in jail. Hartlepool's leaders, full of rage, went to see this thing in its cage. String him up, he's an evil spy. We sentence this Frenchman to die. Except, of course, this isn't true. It was online content from 1862, written by a man called Ned. But like the monkey, he's now dead. Every club needs an icon, even if it's some sort of lie or con. Hartlepool have an ape so bony. Wycombe have a man called Tony. Whoever prevails in Saturday's game will struggle to match the worldwide fame of a sentenced monkey hanging sadly, a simian sailor whose life went badly.
Imagine having to watch that every week.
Well, that's what a lot of the opposition fans think every week when they play Wycombe Wanderers, especially if they've lost. But on Twitter this week, I was tagged in an article that was a forensic investigation into why Wycombe's style is so effective and successful. It's a brilliant piece of writing. I'll stick it up on Twitter so you can have a link as well. But better than that, the guy that wrote it is on the line now. It's Cole. He's based up in the northeast. He's a football coach and a blogger. Cole, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good indeed. Thank you for tagging me in your article because I read it at length last night and was struck by how not only was it sort of a really detailed, accurate description of how Wycombe play, but there was no judgment. There wasn't sort of, Wycombe are playing football the wrong way, which is what we normally get as Wycombe fans.
Yeah, well, it was something I really enjoyed writing. That's kind of been the theme with a few of the articles I've done recently, just kind of trying to find how certain teams that kind of stand out statistically and the little advantages to gain. I mean, one thing that kind of really stood out before I did it was that obviously Wycombe have the second lowest possession in the league. On average, I think it's around 41%. So the kind of premise of it was they are typically a long ball team, so they've got to be efficient with the little possession that they have. So that was kind of the basis of it, and then obviously just watched a few games and try to work out how they do create those advantages and gain territory.
So you've done this on a few other teams as well. So why did you choose Wycombe?
It was like I say, it was just kind of when I've written previously about Accrington and Stanley, and they're quite kind of unique in the way that they play as well. But obviously because Wycombe are kind of, as you said, they're kind of associated with being a typical hoofball, long ball team. I thought you can't have had the success that they've had without being really efficient in the way that you do it. So it was kind of a case of that was the kind of starting point, and then delving into some of the trying to identify some of the specifics on it.
I have to say as well, 41% possession. That's fairly high for Wycombe Wanderers in recent times. So things are
better than me.
Things are slightly moving upwards in that position. The thing that really struck me was your recognition of the right to left long diagonal pass, normally from Anthony Stewart onto the head of Sam Vokes. And yes, it's a long ball, but it's setting the platform, and you've really described what happens from there.
Yeah, it's that was kind of the first main kind of pattern or whatever that I noticed. Working the ball to Stewart and then the ball into Vokes, and it's kind of the main thing was kind of the areas around him. Obviously, Scowen and Thompson, they kind of it's like almost I was in another section of the article, it was like almost a screen. So obviously, if Vokes doesn't win the header or get the first ball, then they're there to win the seconds. But also, whoever's partnering Vokes and the number 10, they'd be making runs in behind, or they'd be moving in anticipation for that knockdown. And also the wing back, a beater, he effectively plays as a winger, doesn't he, on the far side? So yeah, it's although it looks kind of basic, it is incredibly specific and well planned. But yeah, that was one of the first patterns. You watch Wycombe's games and that'll be something that you see multiple times whenever they're in possession.
One of the things when I commentate on Wycombe Wanderers, it winds me up to a point where I just don't understand why people do it, especially in League One, is the split centre-backs from the goalkeeper, where they stand on the corner of the 6-yard box, one each side. Yeah. The goalkeeper passes it to his left. They then pass it between them. The high press comes in, and then the long ball comes in under pressure and concedes possession. Wycombe have never, ever done that. Am I right in saying that you think Wycombe's approach is so efficient and economical that that's why their low possession but high shot rate is working?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it kind of depends on the quality of play. Well, I use MP Dunn's as an example as one of my players. If your players suit that, and you feel as though that's your best way of getting the ball in the final third, then do it. But for Wycombe, obviously, it's not. If you've got the players who can win the first ball, like Vokes and Handlin, and then you've got players who can pick up the second ball, like Thompson, and you've also got Stockdale, who can. He's got a cannon of a right foot, really, doesn't he? And if you've got that, then if you can progress the ball in the final third doing that, then it's the most economic and efficient way to do it.
And as a young coach, this is an argument we've been having for many years with many sets of away fans. The right or wrong way to play football. Wycombe fans are pretty happy with the style of play under Gareth Ainsworth because it's been largely successful. So is there a right or wrong way to play football in your opinion?
I'm firmly of the opinion there's not, no. I firmly believe that it's kind of, you should base it off the quality of your players, and the quality of Wycombe's players suits playing that way. You shouldn't be it sounds kind of old-fashioned, you shouldn't be philosophical, I don't think, in the way that you approach it. I think it should just be adapting to the quality of players and making sure you maximise the qualities of each of them. think that's my kind of my approach towards coaching and football in general, I think.
When Wycombe were in the Championship, they played three at the back, and that's when they brought the wing backs in. That's certainly something that's been new after many years of Gareth Ainsworth. He played 4-3-3 for a long period up until that second half of the Championship season. But the wing backs have been a massive feature for Wycombe Wanderers, and certainly their success at home this season. And you've really picked up on that as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was one of the things that, like you say, it was in the article. It was they effectively play like wingers in possession, especially Obita, and he carries a massive. I think it might have been an ex-winger. I'm not entirely sure actually, but yeah, he effectively plays as a winger in possession. It's right onto the last line, so it stretches the opposition line quite a lot. I mean, obviously means they're available for direct switches out wide, and it means that when there's a crossing situation, they can attack the far post, which creates further numbers in the box, and that's why quite a lot of Wycombe shots in general, which is another stat I picked up, was a lot of their shots have been generated from those crossing situations. So yeah, I mean it's been a big feature this season, especially.
You've been quite right as well to pick out Wycombe Wanderers set pieces. Joe Jacobson from corners and free kicks has been a real weapon for Wycombe Wanderers for many years now. But it seems that teams still can't work out how to defend it.
No, I'm not surprised really, especially the ones from the right. I mean, it's kind of a combination of the quality of his delivery and just how big of a side you are. I mean, I didn't really pick out any sort of like elaborate routines or whatever. I mean, I might have missed them. Someone else might have picked up on that, or they might know some. But there wasn't any sort of like really elaborate routines. It was mainly just a combination of being able to put the ball almost on a sixpence and having like 6'5" giants in there, and obviously the ones from the right are in swingers right on top of the keeper, which is just any level of football, it's a nightmare to defend.
Yeah, it seems to be that it's all down to Jacobson's delivery, really, and the system. I haven't really seen anything. They used to do the bus stop before England did it, and then they've kind of changed all that up as well. Football's quite fashionable, isn't it? Where certain team will start doing something, and then all of a sudden the rest of the league are doing it as well. Have you found that with coaching too? Yeah,
I mean it's just kind of general. I mean one big thing I've seen in League One this year, and obviously I don't know if it's to do with successive teams in higher divisions, is back threes. I mean, the amount of teams now, or back five, the amount of teams now, I mean, I don't know if Wycombe obviously kind of follow that trend, but I mean, especially the games I've watched in League One, so many sides now play back fives and back threes. I mean, I don't know the reason why. I mean, it might just be to protect the centre-backs or whatever, but it definitely is kind of a fashionable trend currently.
Cole, it's a real pleasure to talk to you about Wycombe in a positive sense from outside of the Wycombe bubble, which is great. So we should talk about your blog really, so people can go and check it out. So if they type into Google the letter C, number 4 FTBL, and then they should find all your work. Is that right?
Yeah. There isn't too many articles, and I'm hoping to get a bit more time to write a few more articles. I think what I'm planning on doing is just kind of along the same lines, really, just trying to pick out teams who are like kind of outliers or whatever, or do something quite unique, and then delving into the specifics of it, kind of from a coaching perspective. So appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, not at all. And I mean, football analysis is becoming a huge business. It's always been in the Premier League for as long as I can remember. But now, Wycombe Wanderers have a full-time analyst, and that's a fairly recent thing in the last 2 or 3 years. But it's throughout the clubs now. Is that something that you want to get into?
Yeah. I mean, I do want a career in football when I'm older, regardless whether that's as a coach or kind of down the analyst route. But it's kind of my aspirations. As I get older, just getting as much experience as possible for now, really.
Who's your team? Who do you support?
I support Sunderland.
Oh, here we go.
Don't start, honestly.
No, we like Sunderland. I think Sunderland fans don't tend to like us very much on the whole. But,
I know what the perception of Wycombe is. Yeah.
Well, hopefully Sunderland. You should do a little look back on Sunderland. Although the results haven't been too clever of late, have they?
Yeah. I'll have to title that one. What's going wrong?
Well, Carl, all the best with your coaching and the blog as well. Wycombe fans, go and check it out. It's a really good read. And I'll tell you what we'll do then. We'll speak to you around when Sunderland come down to Adams Park, because that's always a good game.
Yeah, perfect, mate. Thank you very much for having me on as well. Really appreciate it.
Right, that's your lot for this week. Many thanks to Gareth Ainsworth, Cole, Bill Turnbull and Oily Sailor. As Uri said earlier on in the show, Ringing the Blues has been nominated for Club Podcast of the Year at the Football Supporters Association Awards, which take place in London at the end of November. Fortunately, it's not decided by a public vote, so we are in with a shout. Either way, it's great to be nominated for a third year in a row, but if you do want to get involved, then you can always leave me a lovely review on Apple Podcasts, or go on my website, which I don't have, and email bluntphil@gmail.com, lowercase capitals please. Right, we'll be back after the Pompey game, if it goes ahead, watch this space. In the meantime, come on you Blues.